We're asked to create a system of linear equations to describe the situation and then solve the system using Cramer's rule. You decide to paint your kitchen green. You create the color of paint by mixing yellow and blue paints. You cannot remember how many gallons of each color went into your mix, but you know there were a total of 9 gallons of paint. Additionally, you kept your receipt and know the total amount spent was $133. If each gallon of yellow paint cost $17 and each gallon of blue cost $13, how many gallons of each color go into your green mix? Let's begin by letting x equal the number of gallons of yellow and y equal the number of gallons of blue. Because you know there were a total of 9 gallons of paint, x plus y must equal 9. Next, because you spent a total of $133 and each gallon of yellow cost $17 and each gallon of blue cost $13, the amount spent on yellow paint must be 17 times x, or 17x, plus the amount spent on blue paint must be $13 times y, or 13y, and this sum must equal the total of $133. And now we'll solve this system of equations using Cramer's rule. Cramer's rule uses determinants to solve systems of linear equations. If we take a look at our notes below, notice the coefficients of x are a sub 1 and a sub 2. The coefficients of y are b sub 1 and b sub 2. And the constants on the right are c sub 1 and c sub 2. And now if we take a look at the determinants used to solve for both x and y, let's focus on the denominator first. Notice both denominators are 2 by 2 determinants, where the first columns contain the coefficients of x, and the second columns contain the coefficients of y. And now let's focus on the numerators. For the 2 by 2 determinant for x, the first column is replaced with the constants on the right side of the equation. And the second column remains the coefficients of y. And then when solving for y, again focusing on the numerator, notice the second column in the numerator is replaced with the constants c sub 1 and c sub 2, and the coefficients of x remain the same in the first column. Let's set up Cramer's rule to solve our given system. Notice in our first equation, the coefficient of x is 1, and so is the coefficient of y. So for the 2 by 2 determinant in the denominator for both x and y, the first column will be the coefficients of x, which in our case are 1 and 17. The second column will be the coefficients of y, which are 1 and 13. And now let's focus on the 2 by 2 determinant in the numerator for x. When solving for x, we replace the first column with the constants on the right side of the equation, and therefore the first column is 9 and 133. The second column remains the same, the coefficients of y. So when solving for x in the numerator, we replace the coefficients of x with the constants. And now looking at the numerator for y in the 2 by 2 determinant, we replace the y coefficients in the second column with the constants on the right, which again are 9 and 133. And the first column in the numerator remain the coefficients of x, which are 1 and 17. And now we simply evaluate the 2 by 2 determinants. For x, in the numerator, the determinant is equal to 9 times 13 minus 1 times 133. In the denominator, the determinant is equal to 1 times 13 minus 1 times 17. And for y, the denominator is going to be the same of 1 times 13 minus 1 times 17. In the numerator, the determinant is equal to 1 times 133 minus 9 times 17. And now let's go to the calculator. Notice x is equal to 4. And y is equal to 5. Now we know the green mix contains 4 gallons of yellow paint and 5 gallons of blue paint. I hope you found this helpful.